Welcome to our next tutorial. We are going to discuss PHP connectivity to MySQL and how to insert data from PHP into a MySQL database. To begin with, let us first discuss the topic, how PHP and MySQL database connection works. In establishing a connection between a PHP script and a MySQL database, it is important to ensure that you already have knowledge of database creation, including tables, that you have identified the appropriate data types to use, and that you understand database setup and management using either an IDE or PHP MyAdmin. When using XAMPP, make sure to start the Apache and MySQL modules to run PHP and the MySQL client. Try to observe the value of hostname, username, and password. Those are the default values after installing XAMPP. The DB name is the name of your database created in your PHP MyAdmin or any IDE. The $count equal to MySQL iConnect is a function that compiles the localhost, username, password, and your created database. Next line is the if statement with expression $con pointed to connection error, meaning in case the established connection will fail, the statement database connection wire will show and followed by the expected error. In PHP, the object operator is used to access properties and methods of an object. The function MySQL iConnect is used to establish a connection between a PHP script and a MySQL database. Host usually localhost, username database username default, root in XAMPP, password for the database user default, blank in XAMPP, DB name the name of the database you want to use. MySQL iConnect error, it returns a description of the last connection error if the attempt to connect to the database fails. Next, let us proceed to inserting data into the MySQL database. Before we proceed to PHP coding, we are expecting that you already have knowledge in creating a database. Please follow the following steps. Step 1. Create a database named student_dbms. Step 2. Create a table named Student Table. Step 3. Check the following columns and their characteristics. And now, please observe the properties of the table that I prepared, and start building your database and table name, including the given properties. Next, let us observe the name attributes and their values that will be used when retrieving data in PHP intended for the student registration form. Open your Notepad++ and finish typing the given HTML code. Make sure that you enter the tags accordingly. Now, let us begin our PHP coding. This time, I am introducing to you the PHP coding named the procedural style using MySQL I. How does this MySQL I procedural style work? First, you are using functions like MySQL I real escape string and MySQL I query instead of $con object operator real escape string or $con object operator query. $con here is a resource link from MySQL iConnect being passed into functions. The following method is recommended for small application systems only, but for larger systems it is recommended to use prepared statements. The following is the PHP procedural style coding. This part, I divided into two ways of getting the value from our GUI. First, get the value from the GUI using the post method and handle it by our argument before passing the argument inside the values of the MySQL I query. Second, I directly call the post method to get the value from the GUI inside the values of the MySQL I query. I used the PHP function such as trim to remove the white space before and after the inputted value in the text box, and strip tags to avoid PHP and JavaScript tags as protection against excess hacking. To execute the SQL command, I used MySQL I query. I have a condition if, and inside of it is the Boolean condition that once the connection is established and the SQL command is executed, the statement inside the if statement will display. Else, the statement inside the else statement will show. Let us proceed to the technical explanation. Why procedural type is fine for small project. It uses trim, strip tags, and MySQL I real escape string which already adds a layer of safety. Works well for class projects, exercises, or small internal systems. Easier for beginners to understand compared to prepared statements. Trim removes any spaces and invisible characters from the beginning and end of the input. MySQL real escape string escapes special characters in the string to prevent SQL injection issues when building a query. It escapes special characters in a string before sending it into an SQL query. Escapes characters that might break SQL queries. Protects your SQL query from syntax errors and some SQL injection attempts. Strip tags removes any HTML or PHP tags from the input. Helps prevent excess cross-site scripting if you later display this value in HTML. The function MySQL query is used to send an SQL query to the MySQL database through an active connection. For queries that don't return data like insert, update, delete, create table, it returns true on success or false on failure. The function MySQL error returns a string description of the last error that occurred on the given database connection. Example error, table student DBMS. Wrong table doesn't exist. Now, let us discuss the difference between include and require. If we are talking about include, purpose loads and evaluates a file into your script. If the file is missing, PHP shows a warning, but the script will continue to run. Require, purpose, same as include, loads a file into your script. If the file is missing, PHP shows a fatal error and the script will stop running. I hope that you understand the PHP coding using procedural style. Now, let us proceed to the next coding style in PHP, which is using OOP object-oriented style with MySQL and prepared statements the safe way. Before we proceed to the coding explanation, let us first discuss the technical terms that we will encounter during the PHP explanation. $con object operator prepare. This uses the object $con calling a method prepare. $stnt object operator bind param, again method style call. And $stnt object operator execute the query. Instead of manually escaping strings with MySQL real escape string, prepared statements handle special characters automatically. You can still use trim to clean spaces. No need for MySQL real escape string because prepared statements prevent SQL injection automatically. Errors are easier to debug using $stnt object operator error. After clicking the submit button, and the set stn is true, the next arguments will handle the value from the cleaned data from the GUI using the post method. The trim function and strip tags are still used to remove spaces before and after, and to remove PHP or JavaScript tags against excess. After the assigned values from the different GUI elements, I have a condition using an if statement that checks for the contact number, allowing only numbers and a plus sign before the numbers. Once the user inputs a string, any special characters, or space, this condition will be triggered since the condition uses the not operator. Once the condition is satisfied, the statement of the if statement will show, and the function will stop executing since I have a reserved word return inside. This return is used to stop reading the next condition or function. The return value is undefined, but its purpose is only to stop the line of code execution. Next is the code for inserting data into the table named student table. Again, the prepare function is used to prepare an SQL statement to be executed later. Instead of inserting values directly into the SQL string, you write placeholders, where the values will go. If you observe the question marks are placeholders, you need to supply the values coming from the post method, but in this case, we need to bind the data first using the bind param function. The bind param method binds variables to the placeholders in your prepared SQL statement. Observe the arguments, string text, char, varchar, integer, int, tiny int, big int, double, float, decimal, real numbers, blob, binary data, files, images. After the bind param function, the statement is executed using the execute function, and then the connection is closed. Now, please read the remaining technical terms of object-oriented programming using prepared statements in PHP. This style is used for big systems and is safer compared to the procedural style, and is recommended to use. Cleaning and validating the data are very important. In the next slides, please also review to recall how to validate and clean the data. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Have a nice day.